Hey there, fellow vaporers out there in Vaporland, all over the world and every place else. Excuse me. Today I'm going to talk about what you do with an old mod that you don't use anymore or got broke somehow. This mod was one of my favorites when I first got it about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. These were sold. They were sold by Apollo Cigarette, E-Cig company, and these are the only ones that were actually made out of a solid block of stainless steel. And when these things came out after the original Lavatubes did, they made a big impact on most of the mods. This is referring to the VTube. This is the original VTube. This is one of the special ones that had stainless steel. The whole thing's made out of a block of stainless steel. The cap on the bottom, thing on the top, everything's stainless steel. Well, unfortunately, I use it a lot. Really a lot. And one of the bad things about these mods is that the threads go bad on the inside. The 510 threads usually go bad, and then when they go bad, you can't change you can't actually change that whole connection up there. You gotta remove the cap somehow, and maybe luckily if you're knowledgeable, you can actually take that out and put a new one in somehow. Well, the VTube had a different kind of a contact connection on the 510 connector. If you look at most of your mods with the 510 connectors on the inside, they have like a little cap made of the brass. Most of them are made of like steel or aluminum or brass, chrome plated basically, and they have like a rubber grommet underneath that. Well, the VTube wasn't like that. The VTube had a spring-loaded centerpiece that whenever you put anything in there. Whenever you put anything in here, let's say this is the atomizer, right? Here, like this. If you take the tank and you screw the tank in, it pushes down on that spring load, and then when you unscrew it and you take it out, it comes back up again. So whatever you put in there, it's always making contact. That's not like the ones now with these caps on the bottom of the 510s. Sometimes if it doesn't make contact, you gotta go into the atomizer of the tank with a toothpick on the bottom and pull that centerpiece out just a little bit, not to go too far because you can pull it off the wire. But anyway, that's what I liked about the VTube, the centerpiece. Well, I can't use it now. So what I did, and also the button, this button right here. When I first got this button, it was a clicky button. It was really clicking. It was a loud click, right? But now you hardly hear anything. You can't even hear anything, right? And it's hard to push. You got to push it hard to make it activate, but it still works. I use it as a backup, and I use it whenever I feel like holding a piece of stainless steel in my hand. But anyway, what I did, I went out and I got what they call a 510 Ego connector adapter. And you take the Ego 510 connector and you just screw it right into the 510, the old threads, or into another thread, whatever, and it gives you a new Ego connector. See, like this. It gives you an Ego connector threads on the bottom, and it gives you the 510 connection on the inside. So that way, if you have any bad threads, you take a new adapter like this and you force it. You over-thread it, you cross-thread it into the original hole, and you turn it and turn it and turn it. It gets really tight, where you can't actually take it out anymore. And then you can actually start using it. What I call this my big ego. It looks like an ego, but bigger, fatter, and everything. And the battery's in the bottom. It uses 118-650 battery. And it holds the voltage. I don't think is pulse voltage in this one, but it works. I'll show you how this thing works. I'm going to use this tank. I got this is called a David tank, and I put my own drip tip on it. You can change the drip tips on these. You can't do them on the Pro tanks. And also, it comes with a spline adapter for ego connections. For ego connections, because that's got a 510 connection on it. So anyway, I went out and I bought a wide one, and it's got an airflow on it. See it? I got a wide one, and it's got the airflow on it. This doesn't have any airflow, and it's only a small one. It doesn't look very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this big one, and it goes on here like this. You have to come down level, because on this thing, this thing will not stop. It will keep going right down into that hole. So you have to stop it at a certain point. Right about there. And then you take your tank, put the tank in there. There you got it. That's how it looks. That's the old VTube. That's the VTube. It has the old electronics in there, not with the new electronics like some of the new VTubes they came out with, the Lavatubes. Some of these copycat Lavatubes that they sell now on different sites, they're made of very light material, but they have a nice electronics feature that this one doesn't have. The new electronics shows resistance. This one doesn't show resistance, and this one does not have variable wattage. It only has variable voltage. I think that the copycats also have variable voltage, but they don't have wattage. But they do have a resistance, but this one doesn't have it. This is the old electronics. Let's see how it vapes. I got it set at 4.5 volts. Anything higher than that, because the ohms on this is about 2.7 ohms on this tank. Right? So I run these. I always run the voltage 1.8 plus whatever the ohms is, and it comes out pretty good. Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah, it works pretty nice. It still works. Even with that new adaptation and the Ego 510 Ego connector I put on there, it works great. It's a good backup. I like it. I can use just about any tank, any kind of tank on here, and because the Ego threads are up high and outside, you can put on just about any kind of Ego connector on here too. That's what I like about this one. I mean, the way I made it into my big ego. It's like I call this my big ego. Yeah, it makes pretty good. Yeah, I like that. That's just something I did with my old ones. Things you can think about when if something goes wrong with it. There's always ways of getting around things to make them work again. So I seen something about somebody on one of the YouTubes, I think it was, about how you can actually get around fixing bad threads. You put a piece of wire in there, and then you put your tank in, whatever you're going to put in there. You put you put a very thin piece of wire straight down over the threads, and then you sort of like loop it around over the top. And then you take your tank or your cartomizer or whatever it is, and you screw it in. And after you screw it in, you just snip it off, or whatever you want to do with it, right? And what it does is it actually gives you that tightness that you need to get into the threads. Because when the threads are stripped, they're stripped, right? So anyway, that's what you can do with an old VTube. You can turn it into a personal big ego. And have some fun with it. This is a stainless steel one. I like this, and I love the stainless steels. It's completely different than the Vamo I got. I like the Vamo. This is my Vamo, and this is my VTube. Yeah, this is my new one. I love this. So I'm going to put this one away again. I just wanted to show you guys what you can do with an old VTube. or a Lavatube. This particular type of Lavatube, either in chrome, stainless steel, or in black gunmetal. If you have one of these particular types of Lavatubes or VTubes or Lamos or whatever you want to call them, if you have one of these particular types, even if it's a mini, even if you have one of those minis, you can do the same thing. If something goes wrong up here. Now, what I did, I ordered some of those new electronics for the inside of this thing. It has a resistance checker in it. And the only I have the electronics. I paid $10 for the PCB and the button and the wire and everything comes with it. And the only thing I'm having a hard time to do is getting this cap off. You can't. This cap on the top here is not threaded and it's not screwed on. It's pressed on, and it is. And I tried all kinds of ways to get this off. I don't want to mess up the stainless steel finish on it. And it's not a finish, it's actually stainless steel, but I don't want to put any dents in it or scratches, real deep scratches or marks on it. And I can't find any way to get this cap off. The only way I can think of putting it is because there's a very thin line right around there. That's where it's connected together, and I can't even get a blade of a knife in there. That's how tight it is. So I don't know how I'm going to get that thing off. I tried one time using a vice grip with a real thick canvas rag, and it just wouldn't do it. Wouldn't budge at all. So I don't know. But this still vapes nice, and the electronics also comes with a new button too, new clicky button. It's pretty good. So anyway, I'm going to take one more vape, then I'm going to shut it off. Now that's a good flavor too. That's Dunhill. This is one type of Dunhill flavor. They got about 4 or 5 different types of Dunhill flavors. That is called Dunhill. It's from a Dunhill cigarette they make in England. It's pretty good. Nice. Anyway, that's about it, my friends out there in vape land. This is called the world. everybody in the world. I want to wish you all having a Merry Christmas and a good holiday season this year. And I hope your relatives or your friends buy you what you need for vaping. Keep on going. Get off the cigarettes. Stay off the cigarettes. We don't need any smoking anymore. No more smoking. And it's not good for the health, period. No one wants lung cancer. Look what happened to John Wayne and Yul Brynner. Yeah. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And I wish you all the best of luck in the new year coming up. This is Pawzona. Take care.